What is going on, everybody? Welcome to an episode of Between the Ropes. It's been a while. It has been a while. We skipped right through Halloween, man. Right through Halloween. So welcome in. Nice to have you all here with us. And, of course, we are here to talk all about the week that was and all the news that's going on in pro wrestling. And like always, there is a lot. We had a pay-per-view on Saturday, and we had a TNA pay-per-view, and we've got a lot of stuff going on. And, Jeff, the world is always busy in pro wrestling. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is.
Yep, no matter when. We still have tons to talk about every episode. So it's good when we get a chance to do these. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Welcome in, everybody. Let me see who's here really quickly, and we'll talk about. So coming this week, we should have Fireflies Forever on Tuesday. I know we took that off last week, but we should have that. And then, of course, Thursday is TNA. I will be back for that one for sure because I missed last week's. I've had a bunch of stuff going on and everything like that, so I will be glad to be back. I know I missed a good show, and I still have yet to watch it, so I have to check that out. So that is what we got coming up. Let's see. Derek, I'll give you a break. Okay? But all I'm going to tell you is this. You enjoy Kirk Cousins during the season. Because once that playoff switch hits, it turns from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde really, really quickly. So just keep that in mind. There's a reason why Kirk Cousins never took the Vikings past the divisional round in the playoffs. So just keep that in mind, my friend. And also keep in mind that you're playing a team in Dallas that's going to be a top 10 draft pick. So, but congratulations on your win, womp womp. Anyway, Brandon Wayne Lewis says, I'm still celebrating the Dodgers winning the World Series, by the way. So I don't care. I'm still on that high. And then now I just look forward to the Celtics trying to win again, go from that to that and keep my winning going. Brandon Wayne Lewis, Hassan is here. Terrence is here. Dylan, bonus baby. James Chadwick is staying up late. Hey, James. Andrew, John G, Anthony Slade, a member of our channel. Thank you so much, Anthony, for dropping by and being a member. Ryan, John G, Damian Robinson, Andrew Stevens. Some applause for our members. Chris Gillies here. Hey, Chris. And we've got Brandon. We have Conrad in the house. Say, Conrad. Conrad's Bill's just rolling along. We've got Alexa Bliss Gamer 0809. We've got Hassan. We have Barry Monkey from Twitch. And I think we're good. So, Jeff, you know what? I have to ask you this though before we start, because we did miss Halloween, or at least I did. How was your Halloween with the kids? You take the kids and stuff like that? Did you dress up? What'd you do?
No, the kids dressed up. I did not take them. They were with their mom. My Halloween was, aside from work, was very uneventful. We did not have trick-or-treaters, which is interesting. But I won't complain. But yeah, it was just, honestly, aside from work and barely getting here for the TNA watch along, it was pretty uneventful. How about yours?
I went to my friend Shane's party, which is always good. We just get together with old friends. It kind of dwindled a little bit this year. There wasn't as many people. Some people really went all out, like some amazing costumes there. The one dude, thin guy, dressed up as Gene Simmons, armor and all. He looked fantastic. Shane and his and one of his friends was the Ghostbusters. Had the proton packs. I mean, one room in his whole house was decked out like the Ghostbusters. Downstairs in the basement had the thing with the ghost container and all that in there. I mean, it was awesome. One of his other friends dressed up as Bruce Willis in Die Hard, which is a really fun costume. He wore like sandals under his bare feet, as you couldn't really see, just that allowed him to walk. But it was a good costume. And yeah, some of them we had someone dressed up as Sauron with a big knight's helmet and stuff like that from Lord of the Rings. Okay. So yeah, it was cool. I couldn't drink, which is fine. And I just snacked on a bunch of chips. Okay. But yeah, it was cool. Got to see some people and stuff. As far as here, yeah, we're empty nesters now. So my youngest is off at Halloween parties at college. And yeah, usually we don't do the trick or treat thing either anymore. We just, my wife was working, and it's like, so yeah, it's a little weird not doing that. But I do have to ask, I'm going to ask Jeff, and I'm going to ask all of you, now this may go back to your childhood here. I know I had to think of it too. So what was your favorite ever Halloween candy that you got when you went trick or treating as a kid?
Oh man.
And you know what? And maybe what your favorite costume was too. Tell me what your favorite costume was to wear when you were a kid. I was telling stories about those horrible plastic Ben Cooper costumes that you'd buy in a box, and how bad they stunk when you sweat.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, some of those costumes back then were pretty rough, man. It was.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. I tell everybody, Jeff, because people don't really realize this, especially in our area. But when we were younger. And now, I mean, you lived down south, correct? You grew up down south. Yeah. So you wouldn't have known it really either. But up here in the Northeast, around Halloween, it got cold. Like it was kind of leading into winter, and you more than likely you were wearing layers. So the layers that you wore on top of that plastic thing that went over. So those Ben Cooper costumes with the mask, and then you had the thing that went around your shirt that you tied. And it went down around you, so it was like an extra shirt, but it was made of all plastic. Well, by the time you're going into like old people's houses trick-or-treating, right? And you know how old people, they blast the heat, man. They got that heat cranked up to 90, and you get in there in your thing, and you are just sweating. You are just covered. And then they ask you to sing. Jeff, did anyone ever make you sing when you were a kid? We had to sing.
Yes.
Oh my God. The old people would say, you got to sing something, or they wouldn't give us anything. And then even then they'd give us an apple.
Yep.
Or a popcorn ball.
Yep.
That was the things we got from the old people that made us sing. So we sang for apples like great. Yeah. It was But what was your favorite candy? Did you think of it?
Oh yeah. So it was kind of different where I grew up, because it was mostly like everyone in my neighborhood knew everyone. It was just a kind of a big family community almost.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I loved Charleston Chews.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
And
yeah, okay.
anytime I could get a bunch of Charleston Chews, I was all in for it. So
nice.
So yeah, Charleston Chews. Got a lot of candy apples back then. But yeah, Charleston Chews, whatchamacallits.
I love whatchamacallits.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and I love Almond Joy, so
okay.
Yeah. So those for me. But favorite costume though, I
Could have
mean,
been when you were a little older too, if you want to even go a little bit older, because kids' costumes can be weird.
yeah, probably Batman.
Yeah. Joe, wow, you dressed up as Batman. Nice.
I did dress up as Batman one year. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was when I was a kid, and
Yeah. Okay.
I just remember
Now the Adam West Batman, the blue and
yeah,
the blue.
yeah,
Okay, I figured. Yeah.
yeah, and I just remember my mom getting irritated with me because I had to have all the pieces,
Oh, the belt and yep.
had to have everything. So a lot of it was homemade, but that
wow.
was one of my favorite ones.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the stuff we have, I mean, obviously our grandparents and stuff would make costumes and
Yeah.
stuff for people back then. So yeah, one of my best friends growing up, her father was an amazing tailor and he made them like, I remember, they went as aliens one year, and he got a big plastic head helmet that he put on their heads and had teeth and stuff like the big old green aliens with the thing that, oh my God, they looked, he came over our house once. Terrified. Like I was probably I might have been 10, right? Maybe 10 or 11. And I'm at my door. Now my door, Jeff, you remember the doors back then? You had the storm door and you had the wooden door, but the wooden doors a lot of times had 3 windows. You had one little one was that, right? So I'm not tall enough to look up through the second or third window at this point. All of a sudden our door, we had an enclosed front porch before you get to our front door. So the front door opens, the porch door opens, and I hear this boom, boom. But I'm like, what is this? So I look out the bottom window and I can't see the dude's head. I can't see his head. I'm looking up like this. And all of a sudden I go, Mom, Mom, somebody's well, here it was my friend's dad. Now he was a tall man. He was probably 6'3", probably 6'2", 6'3". So he dressed in a full-blown Frankenstein costume and he put bricks on his shoes. So he made himself to be about 6'6". So I mean, he's standing out here like, Mom, I'm not opening the door.
Like, I'm not messing with that.
I'm like, I'm not opening that door. But oh my God, he was so good at making costumes. Mine, I had a Batman one, but when Michael Keaton's when his Batman came out, I got the cowl. Mm-hmm. So I had the full cowl that would go over your head with the bat symbol in the bottom. That was probably one of my favorites too, actually. As a young kid, though, it was probably Spider-Man. I would think probably my Spider-Man costume because my mom tells me I used to wear it under my pajamas. So I'm guessing I must have liked it. And my candy, it's so hard to pick from just one. Like Jeff's saying, chocolate wise, I was always a Hershey's guy because we live so close to Hershey here. We go to the park and stuff, but I love Hershey Special Dark bars. I love them. I love that semi-sweet chocolate. And even to this day, I could sit and eat a bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips because I love it. But a non-chocolate, either Swedish fish or I used to love bottle caps.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I like them was because I like cola flavored stuff, and you just can't find cola flavored candy. So they were my Jeff. I was lucky enough. I grew up half a block away from a candy store.
Man,
we had a candy store right next door to us. We could go into there, and he had the Swedish fish in the jars, and he'd get out the thing, and he'd put them in a bag. I could get a bag of Swedish fish for $1.
Yep,
$1.
Yep.
And like I was talking about. My wife and I was talking about Lickamade. Remember Lickamade with the sugar packets and the sticks?
Mm-hmm.
Get that for like $0.25. Like all of these things were so cheap back in the day. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
My granddad owned a convenience store and he had penny candy.
Oh, yes. Yes. And all of it. Yep.
Yeah. Like all kinds of candy and penny candy, all kinds of stuff. And I mean, we'd go down there and rack up. So yeah.
Was so much fun, man. And there's just another small thing that like the kids just will never know. They'll never know that things like that existed. They'd have a jar of pretzel sticks. They were the best pretzels to this day that I've ever had.
Yeah.
So you'd never get a stale one. They had them in a glass jar. They pick up the lid. You pull out a couple of pretzels. They were a penny a piece. Oh man. No, James, we have no cola candy whatsoever except for the gummies, the Coke bottle gummies. That's it. That's all we got. We got Tic Tacs a while back, but they stopped making them. But I have nothing. I wish I had cola candy. I can't get any of them. And I know overseas has a lot. China and Japan have a bunch, but I can't get a hold of anything cola. And that sucks because I really love them. Red apple 5-cent pretzels. Yes. How about the hot dollars? They used to call them hot dollars, but they weren't hot at all. They were just gummy little things that had a little cent sign on them.
Yeah.
We could go on and on, but I digress. But yeah, let's. I'll see what people are saying in the chat real quick, and we'll get into our news here. Let's see. Young lad, my favorite costume was a cowboy. This year, dressed as German Oktoberfest person. That's cool. M&M says Chris. Yeah. Hey, listen, M&Ms are a good one. Good go-to. I like peanut butter M&Ms now. I'm a fan of those. I like them better than Reese's Pieces. They have more peanut butter in them. Dots are great unless you get that box of hard ones.
Yeah.
Then they're awful. They stick to your teeth. Good and Plenty's you liked. Oh my God, I hate it. Anything licorice. Anytime I got licorice stuff, Good and Plenty, just like regular like Sens, my mom used to call them, I'd give them to my mother. I'd never eat them. I hated licorice flavor. Ugh, yuck. Freddy mask in the glove, nice. Trick-or-treating in a candy mine would probably have been Kit Kats. Yeah, Kit Kats are great. Eating popcorn right now. Haven't had a popcorn. They still sell those popcorn balls. I still see them in Walmart. Every Halloween, you see big giant bags of them.
Yep.
Let's see. Top 5 candies in no particular order. 3 Musketeers, M&M's, Milky Way, Reese's, and a 100 grand bar. Jeff, remember a Fifth Avenue bar? That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
They're still around. I love those. Hello, AB. How are you? Reese's. Yeah, man. Reese's is such a big one. Like a lot of people love Reese's cups and Reese's almost anything. Tootsie Rolls. I like the flavored ones. I used to like the lime ones and the cherry ones and the chocolate ones are okay. Vanilla were awesome. They were great. Yeah. Now they sell just whole bags of vanilla.
Yep.
Yeah, they're amazing. I love them. Cola cubes. I wish we had cola. What are they, James? Now you got to tell me because maybe I'll have to look for them. Penny candy was so good growing up in the 80s. Oh, it was such a big part of the 80s. Pirate costume. Hate a special. Yeah, I love it. It's so good. Let's see. Hershey bar. Yeah, I love I love them too. I love just the plain Hershey bar. Love it. I have 2 of them in my refrigerator right now. I eat a square every now and then. I love them.
So I got it since we're talking about Hershey bars.
Mm-hmm.
I got one the other day that's a Hershey bar, but it has waffle cone pieces in it.
Oh man.
Dude, that's amazing.
That reminds me. See, there were 2 candy bars. Hershey made one called a Bar None, which only existed to maybe the mid-80s. But that had waffle kind of wafers inside of it, chocolate inside both of those, and then little peanut pieces on the top. And then they made a Summit bar, which was also in the 80s, which I loved. Again, another one. I told my wife, I said, I must like chocolate with like wafer or like waffle stuff in it. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But they never really stayed around long. You don't see them much anymore. But yeah, I love that. And going to Hershey Park, we'd always get like when we go in the summer, we'd get the new bars that were coming out. So anything new that would come out, they would give us samples of before they hit the market. So yeah, it was, and we went so much. Used to go almost every single year.
Joe, do you remember the Zero bars?
Yes.
You remember those?
Yeah, they had different flavors, right? There was one which was like a nougat square. Yeah. There's one was like a caramel square. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, they were good.
Here are the cola cubes. I don't know how well you'll be able to see them, but
okay.
James sent those over to me.
James, you're gonna have to tell me where I can get them.
I thought about you with this. I went to so where I work, there's a Dollar Tree nearby.
Okay. Yeah.
And they have chocolate oranges. So I got one. I was like, I got to get one this year. Go ahead and get it, but they're stocking them up. So
I have to go then. Yeah, they're the what brand is that? That's the brand from England. Yes. Yeah. That they make the ones are coming out for Christmas. I've yet to check my Rite Aid, but they'll be there soon. I'm pretty sure they have a milk and a dark one now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't decide which one I like better. I like both of them, but the dark I think I like maybe a little more. Because it's not as sweet as it, but yeah, they're fantastic. That's a Christmas treat for me every year. Now this year I won't be able to eat much. I'll just have to have one little slice instead of pounding down the whole ball like I usually do.
Yeah.
But it's okay. That's all right. At least I could try it. An Uno bar. I remember those. Snickers, M&M's, Skittles, Reese's, Snickers, and Hershey bars. Tootsie Rolls. You like all types of Tootsie Rolls. Zero bars. Yeah, they were awesome. Yeah. Picture of the cola cubes. Yeah, I'll have to check those out. You have to tell me where I can go. Can I get them online somewhere? Like, does anywhere online sell them? Like, even if it's an overseas shop or something, I definitely have to check those out. Imru Gamer, hello. Sapphire, hello to you. I get mine from a market in town that still uses old style tubs and measure. Yeah, that's how our old candy stores did it. I missed them. Hello, Big Dan. How are you? Symphony bars and cookies and cream. Hershey's cookies and cream. Yeah, I like them too. I have to get in a mood for white chocolate because it is very sweet. But they're good though. The offset with the chocolate and everything in them. Hershey hasn't made a new bar in a while. They used to come out with new ones almost every year, but they really haven't made them in a while. But all right. That's enough discussion of Halloween. I hope you had a great one, and we're moving on. I mean, I loved it, Jeff. I shared a GIF that someone shared with me on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it. Somebody shared with me the scene from Friday the 13th when Jason's walking down the street in Manhattan and kicks over the boombox. But what's playing on that boombox is the Mariah Carey "All I Want for Christmas" song when he does it. So he comes down to here, I don't want to, and he just kicks the boombox up the thing. Like, that's beautiful. I have to share. Man, we're on to Thanksgiving almost. I mean, God, it's going to be Black Friday, like my 36th Black Friday working, my 36th. We're on to like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, one of my other favorite movies that I absolutely love. So, all right, we got a lot to talk about, so we're going to get into the wrestling now that we dilly-dally for a bit. Jeff, I guess we can get into some breaking news.
Yeah, let's get into if you got any breaking news, we'll do that now.
I mean, there's been so much, right? Because we got the WWE releases. I know that was a big story over the last few days. Obviously, the stuff coming out of Crown Jewel yesterday and everything that went on there obviously can be considered. I don't know that there's anything I necessarily saw today. I mean, if anybody in the chat has anything you saw specifically today, let us know. Jeff, do you have anything in particular? I mean, other than that, I know it's just been all the stuff that's been going on the last like 3-4 days altogether.
Yeah, other than what's been out there the last couple of days, I haven't seen anything today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've got a lot to go over just between the last 4 days and all the stuff that went on. So yeah, we'll move off. I don't really think there's anything that I saw in particular out in the wrestling world today, other than the stuff that was gone over that happened yesterday and the day before. So we'll don't tell any spoilers for. Raw taped. I didn't know Raw was taped. I had no idea that was taped. Yeah, don't, and no spoilers in the chat, obviously, because I had no idea it was even taped. They announced the WrestleMania International Tour, says Conrad. Okay. Oh, okay. So WrestleMania is going to be going international, going overseas. Oh, that's going to suck, though, for the times, man. That's the only thing that stinks for that, is because you go overseas, the time's going to be all screwed up. You're going to have it at different times of the day here, but I'm not surprised, Jeff. I mean, they're doing really well in all those other countries, like every time they go there, the reactions they're getting are amazing. I'm not really surprised. And listen, I wouldn't begrudge our friends like James and stuff that are over there to be able to at once in a lifetime go and see like a WrestleMania in London or something like that. I think that would be phenomenal for the people that live over there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I mean, they're deserving of more. I mean, I just think sometimes as American fans, we get spoiled at all the options that we have, but I mean, they deserve it too. So
agreed. Yeah, agreed. I guess we could talk about that for a minute. The Rhea Ripley injury thing. Yeah, I just saw that. I had no idea. I saw it, and they were saying she was injured, and I'm like, wow, that kind of crap luck, right? Because she was just injured not that long ago. Mm-hmm. But then I got to reading a little bit about it, and now I could see her point. Is it a work? I don't know. I think they're working it maybe into the story. I don't know if it's a work though. I think she probably is legit injured. But it's kind of hard to tell because you really never know. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of started swirling around in the last couple of days that she was hurt. But James said it's legit. I believe it's legit. But they are working it into a story though, obviously too. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, Conrad, thank you, Conrad, just sent over the graphic for it. I'll just read off the dates and tell you the the locations if that's okay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
March 14th, they're doing SmackDown in Barcelona, Spain.
Oh, wow. Okay.
March 15th, they're in Germany. Same with the 16th, 17th. They're doing Raw from Brussels, Belgium.
Wow.
March 21st, they're in Italy for SmackDown. 22nd is Northern Ireland, Belfast. March 23rd is Nottingham, England. Glasgow for March 24th. London, March 28th for SmackDown. Vienna, Austria, March 29th. Amsterdam, the Netherlands, March 30th. And then London for Raw on March 31st.
So this is all for next year.
Yeah.
Wow. So oh my gosh, that's going to make for a hell of a final tour for Cena then too.
Mm-hmm.
Cena's going to be able to go to like all of those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. And that's all leading up to Mania. Man, that's really cool. That's really, really cool. It's going to be really neat. And you know what, Jeff? It coincides with the Netflix Raws. So all of those Raws that are overseas are going to be on Netflix. I mean, yeah, that's cool. That's really, really cool. A lot of big stuff over there happening for people, and the crowds are going to be off the charts. So that's awesome. Very cool. All right, let's get into some our news for the week, I guess, Jeff.
Yeah, let's do it. So first up, Crown Jewel recap. We got the Saudi show yesterday, and it was eventful, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go into this as I kind of sometimes do, expecting a ton. So I kind of lowered my expectations a little bit. But yeah, I think we got some things that led to some other things with the bloodline, right? I mean, the big thing with that is how they didn't really function well together, Roman and the brothers, and then of course you had Sami Zayn come in, and of course he hits Roman, and so it just kind of looks like they're dysfunctional, and but you know what I'm thinking, Jeff? At the minute I saw that, I'm like, who needs to come and bring the functionality back to that team? Who needs to be the glue that holds that team together? And he's been gone for a long time, right? So yep, there it is. James mentioned it, right? We got to get wise man Paul back to glue that whole thing together, and that's what I think is they're building up to here. I think that's what's going to happen. They seem very disjointed, and the stronger team obviously was the new bloodline in the match. But I think that it's just showing you that they're going to bring Paul back, and he's going to be the glue that gets that all back together. The winners, I was a little surprised by. Liv didn't surprise me. I wasn't surprised by that at all. Kind of thought we might get a cash in there, which kind of looked like there might be. They're still teasing that. They're really stringing that out. Yeah, which is cool. I'm fine with that. And then the Cody Gunther match, though, I was surprised by. I honestly thought Gunther would somehow find a way, whether it was going to be maybe KO would come in and interfere and take out Cody and make that feud a little better, or something, or maybe Kaiser, maybe Ludwig Kaiser would come in or something. I didn't think it was going to be clean, but I certainly didn't think Cody was going to win that. And to be honest, Jeff, I'm a little bit, and I would love to hear your opinion. I'm a little bit kind of against that what they did, because it kind of does make that belt, like he went in with that title already kind of seeming like a little less than Cody's, right? Everybody's kind of making Cody's out to be the big thing.
Yeah.
So if Gunther would have won, wouldn't have done anything to Cody, but it would have rose up his championship a little bit more. He could have certainly gone around saying, well, now I'm the real champion or something like that, right? Because then he won, right? I think it would have just given him a little more credibility that Cody, I don't think necessarily needed. Right. So I get it. I know they're fully invested in Cody, and they want Cody to be the guy. He's selling all the merch and all of that kind of stuff. And the same with Liv. Liv is just on the upswing right now, man. Liv
Yeah.
is on top of her game right now. So they got the two people that they are really getting behind. I just kind of was hoping and thinking that they would have given that win to Gunther.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because if you really think about it, what adversity has he had as champion?
Yeah.
And I could argue very little resistance that he's had as champion. So, in terms of elevating the other title, I feel like, yeah, they could have done that, but they also could have given us a little bit of doubt in terms of Cody, especially since his title wasn't on the line.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where is a loss really going to hurt Cody's momentum? No.
Yeah.
But how much good could it have done for Gunther? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, a couple of the things surprised me. But there again, sometimes these Saudi shows can be really, really weird.
Agreed.
We've seen some weird results before. So
Goldberg Fiend.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to bring it up
Yeah.
too soon, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's things like that tend to happen there. So, anything egregious? No, I mean, I don't think there was anything that was egregious per se, but I agree with you there. I think that maybe Gunther was the person to go over there, but
Yeah.
they're in charge of the booking, so
That is very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably have a plan, which is fine. I think I'm kind of excited about going forward with Cody and KO. I think that's going to be a really, really good feud, especially since you don't know where Randy's going to stand in all this. Obviously, Kevin and him are feuding now, but does that last? And there's a lot going on there. Listen, you could even kind of maybe think for a couple seconds to yourself as to whether or not, because everybody's so automatically assuming it's going to be Rock and Cody at Mania, or it's going to be Rock and Roman at Mania, or it's going to be Cody and Bloodline again somehow. I don't know. This KO thing might go on for a bit, and we're getting already up to the end of the year. So, and usually Cody, the champion doesn't usually end up having a match at Survivor Series unless he's in a group. So, this might carry over into next year, and maybe Cody and Kevin wrestle at the Rumble. I don't know, but that's interesting to me. And if I'm Cody, man, I don't turn my back on Randy Orton because it just seems like that. But I like the storyline. I like what they're doing with it. The whole Liv thing with Nia and all that, and everything that's going on there, and and the stuff you got with the possible cash-ins and stuff. I like it. I like what they're doing. So, yeah, look, it was what it was. It's an entertaining show. The belts are crazy big. Yes, I agree with that. They are insanely big. I'm shocked Cody put it on. It hides half of his stomach. But yeah, they are crazy big. Seth and Bronson, yeah, that was an interesting result too. I think they're gonna, they had Seth win it. I don't know. That could have been another one. I could have gone either way. That Bronson maybe should have won to keep that going. It probably is going to keep going anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, was it the greatest show that I watched this year? No. But it was entertaining. It was entertaining. And I'm starting to think, Jeff, that, now they have their own titles. So I'm starting to think of this more like a separate show than almost anything else that they do during the course of the year. Yeah. I look at it as like its own thing now.
Yeah. It's almost like, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like to watch them for several reasons. But it's like that, almost like a standalone show.
Yeah.
That really, I mean, it may play out some storylines. You may get a little bit of addition here or there, but nothing really earth-shattering happens unless you're Goldberg a few years ago. We already brought it up, but yeah, I mean, most times you don't. But I mean, yeah, I mean, going to the Bronson Reed one, I get what they're trying to do. It was basically like the Fiend spot when the Fiend beat Seth in Saudi for the for the title, it was like, how many curb stomps is he gonna have to hit to put Bronson down? And then he does the super mega from the top rope curb stomp and gets the victory. And I get what they're trying to do, but yeah, I agree, Conrad. That's still, man, that moment still. Oh,
Yeah, I was saying, that's it. Oh, I know.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, I just feel like, Bronson should have won that one, because that would have done a lot for him. Yes, he does look strong, but a win against someone like Seth Rollins, I feel, is just would be huge for him right now. So
Yeah. I agree. And Imru wants to know why they make the Saudi show seem hard. And listen, like Jeff had just mentioned, I think a lot of those shows are done. I'm sure that they work with the people that are running the Saudi shows. So it is, I think, some of what they want to see. And yeah, it is what it is. But like I said, I think I just take them a different way now. Whenever I watch these shows, I don't take them as you might call it like canon, right? Like if you're watching a movie series or something is canon when it belongs to that particular movie story. I don't look at these shows almost as canon. I don't take them as part of the official storylines, like Jeff had just mentioned. I think that they're one-off shows. And I think that's why they have their own titles now. They're going to keep those titles there. The wrestlers aren't going to carry them with them. They're going to keep them there. So it's basically, you do 2 Saudi shows a year. Do they put these titles on the line at every one of them? I don't know. But yeah, look, it was fine. And, it's an entertaining show at a time in the year when things are kind of winding down. You have one more big show left for WWE, which is Survivor Series, which is very different anyway. So, but yeah. It is what it is, I guess. And, it was entertaining. Cody and Gunther, probably, I guess that might have been the best match maybe of the night. I'd
also toss in the U.S. Championship match.
The one with LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, that was really good. Agreed. Yeah, that was really good. Cody and Gunther, a certified banger. Saudi show makes more money than WrestleMania. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
It does.
I'm sure it does. Tiffany cashes in at Survivor Series. I don't know. I think now that she didn't cash in yet. I think they're going to wait with that. I think they might wait with that. I think they might wait until a little further down the road. So, fairy tale matches. The Saudi shows are just MSG house shows for the Crown Prince. All right, moving on.
You know what I just had a thought about with Tiffy? And I know people have been asking for it, and you might get it just the way you wanted it. What if they're waiting for her to cash in for Charlotte to come back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true, because she is coming back soon.
I could see those two doing a program at WrestleMania. They're really putting Tiffy over.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be an amazing match for her. Imagine Tiffany Stratton as champion against Charlotte for the belt. Yeah, that'd be huge. Yeah, that would really be huge. That would be a big put over for her. And I imagine, look, Charlotte, I'm sure, is probably at the point in her career too where she's done it all. She's done it all. And she might be, coming back now knowing that, she's been injured a few times and stuff that, might be thinking to herself, it's time now where I'm going to give these young women a push. I'm going to push the next generation a little bit now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Tiffany's going to win, James. I'm pretty sure that's in the cards. She's a bona fide star. I think she is just really, really good. So, all right, Jeff, what do we got next, man?
All right, up next, going to the unfortunate news of 3 releases: Tegan Knox, Baron Corbin, and Indy Hartwell.
I didn't see these until after it was already announced. I love all 3 of them. I love Indy Hartwell, loved her in NXT, love Tegan Knox, and I much to people's probably disagreement, I like Baron Corbin. I was surprised when I saw these 3 names, especially since we haven't seen Indy and Tegan for a bit, and then they were just on SmackDown. So that kind of surprised me as well. Usually when they're gone, they don't do that. But listen, it's never a good day when you see these things happen. I know there's rumors and everything like that about more, and I'm hoping not, because I don't want to publicize. I don't like publicizing it. It's a lousy time, and they've stayed pretty positive about it. All three have said things on Twitter and stuff, and but I do know this: if they want to, and I said this on our Twitter, if they want to move forward in wrestling, I don't think any of the three of them, Jeff, are going to have a hard time finding jobs. Yeah. And there are places for all of them to go. And I think they all have very, very cool things that they do in wrestling and for wrestling but I can see any of them. I know people were talking when I put the post up saying that they'd love to see Indy and TNA. Listen, we know how depleted their women's division is. And if they lose Jordan Grace, which could very well be, they could certainly use an Indy Hartwell or a Tegan Knox or both to build back up that women's division and stuff like that. And the fact that they have a good partnership with WWE with the NXT thing now, sure. And Baron Corbin, he's just good. He's just one of those guys that you don't give him a lot of credit, because he was in some goofy stuff. Jeff always harkens back to the whole thing with Roman Reigns and the dog food. I mean, he was. Yeah, man, he was just used in bad stuff and bad angles. But he's a good wrestler. I think he's been around for a long time. Nick Nemeth was talking about him the other day, and he had nothing but good things to say about him. And so again, there's another guy who maybe AEW would like to take a look at him. Maybe he goes to TNA as well. I don't know, but I think they're going to find homes. And I don't think it's going to be very long. They do all have the 90-day clause. So they can't really do much of anything until like March of next year, I guess, or February of next year. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if we don't see some of them pop up right after their 90 days are over, if that's what they want to do. So,
yeah, I think, just to break down each, I think with Tegan Knox is really unfortunate because she had a laundry list of injuries, unfortunately, up to this point in her career. Baron Corbin, I mean, they weren't really doing anything with him, and same with Indy Hartwell. They're all very talented, and I think if they choose to continue wrestling, then they'll be able to. Corbin is a chef. He does all this barbecuing and different things.
I just said that, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, go check out his YouTube channel. Go check him out on social media because the dude can burn. He's good. So check him out. But I think, with Indy Hartwell, would I like to see her in TNA? Absolutely. I think she could do really well there. Tegan Knox, I think. Well, I'll just put it like this. I think anywhere that picks them up, it'll be good. I just hope that they don't fall into the same kind of thing that they did with WWE, and that's just not being used.
Yeah.
But that's the unfortunate part of the business and the unfortunate part of the arms race that is professional wrestling at some point. Companies are well known for, and especially WWE, loading up the roster just to have people sit in catering, right? So maybe these folks will have an opportunity to go somewhere else and shine.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And like I said, I know that it's never fun when you see this at all. It's always a depressing day when you see lists of people getting released. It's going to probably continue to happen, and it's going to continue to happen everywhere. It's like any job, right? You're going to see cuts in AEW, you're going to see cuts in WWE, you're going to see cuts in NXT. It's just going to happen. And sometimes things just don't work out. And you see other wrestlers. I just saw too that WWE is doing that new thing now with the indies, where they're going to have this new, they're calling it an ID, WWE ID or something like that they're doing, where they're going to have they're going to give certain indie stars a chance to come and try out for WWE and things like that. And so that's coming up. I mean, but yeah, we see these faces and names, and we watched them over the years, and you grow attached, right? You're fans of them. You like the way they wrestle, you like what they do, and then all of a sudden you see their names on a list, and it kind of sucks, But I'm sure, like Jeff said, they'll grab on somewhere if they want to, and maybe Corbin decides to go be a wrestler chef. Hey, if that's what he wants to do, like Jeff said, he cooks well and stuff like that, then there's money to be made in that. You can do a YouTube channel, a cooking channel. They're very popular. So yeah, I think it's great, and I'm sure that they'll find, and what's cool is there's mediums that give them platforms too. They can go on their own YouTube channels. Other places will certainly interview them. I know Busted Open usually has wrestlers that haven't been picked up necessarily by other people coming on after they leave their companies, and they come on and talk and stuff like that, kind of promote themselves a little bit. So yeah, I agree. I think they're all going to land on their feet and whatever they choose to do.
So since Conrad asked for it, I'm gonna give my thoughts just briefly on the indie thing, the WWE ID thing. I think is great on one hand, and I think it could be a situation where talent is kind of under the thumb of WWE. And if they're on contract, then maybe they don't get the same opportunities to go and work indie shows and tour around and do some different things other than what WWE dictates. And that part I don't like.
Yeah.
And I also think it, and I hate to be conspiracy theorist, but I am sometimes, but I hope it's not a game of keep away, because you're controlling people's futures and well-being. So if you know that a person's not gonna work out for you and pan out in your company, don't tie them down with a contract so they can't go to the competitor. That's just my humble opinion.
They had Mark Henry talking about it on the episode of Busted Open that aired. I think it was Friday, because I didn't hear about it until I listened to part of that show. And he was talking. He said he was quite involved. He said they got him involved in it. So that's cool. I like Mark and what Mark does. So that's a good thing. And he was talking. He mentioned Rocky Romero, and a couple of the other trainers that there are out there. So I guess the way he made it sound like as if, sometimes in the indies and stuff, these guys kind of train themselves. They don't get involved with like a professional trainer or somebody like that. So he made it kind of sound as if like these guys might be involved with like a Rocky Romero or somebody that are the better trainers, maybe to get them just a little bit better training and things like that. He made it sound pretty good. So I'm hoping that's the case, because like Jeff mentioned, it could go both ways. And the one thing he did say is that the people who, let's say, don't get chosen, he hopes that they don't look at that as saying like, I suck and I can't make it because I didn't get chosen, which makes a lot of sense. If they're coming in there and they're doing like a little picking type of thing, and they're going to say, well, we'll take you, you, and you, but not you, you, and you. And it does create like a format, right? Where then they think, well, oh, I must be terrible. Why didn't I get this? So yeah, I could see it. There could be some good, there could be some bad there. So let's hope that it's done in a fair way. And I don't even know if we'll even see the behind the scenes of it, Jeff. We probably won't. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. And I know that was probably going on anyway before, Jeff. I'd imagine that a lot of the companies were watching indies a little bit anyway. They probably had maybe some people going to indie shows as scouts, whatever they do, and just checking out people in anyway. So, but this is just I don't know. This is Conrad said I took it as WWE's creating their own territories. Oh, okay. Let's hope not. I hope that's not coming back. You say the word territory and you go right away to thinking of good old Vinnie Mac. And his dad back in the day. So yeah, I don't know. I hope it's not. I hope it's genuine. And Mark made it sound like that. I don't know. I hope so. So I can tell you an exclusive. There are more schools and people already involved that have yet to be announced. Mark mentioned that too. He mentioned that there's a lot of other places that were involved that he couldn't talk about right now. So Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, there you go. We wish them the best, obviously, to whatever they choose to do. And let's just knock on wood, hope that there aren't a lot more. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of someone who is no longer with WWE, but now this person is all elite, that's Bobby Lashley. And I'm gonna say that, I mean, obviously people are gonna talk about Will Ospreay and others that they've signed. I think that when we look back a year from now, we may be saying that Bobby Lashley was one of the best free agent signings that Tony Khan ever had in AEW. Just my opinion.
That's a bold statement, but
Yeah.
you know what? I can't necessarily disagree. I mean, look, if they, Jeff, come anywhere close and even maybe do it better with the Hurt Business than
And we're
WWE
gonna talk about that.
was ever going to, we always segue into another part of our show, then I'm all in, because I wanted to see that go further. We all did, right? Then when that was happening during COVID, they were amazing. They were selling those awesome shirts. They were killing it during that time. And that was around the time of The Fiend. So we were at one point in time thinking we might get a little bit of a battle between Bray and that, because they had that little bit of a confrontation. So could the Hurt Syndicate be better than the Hurt Business? Well, I'll tell you, if it is, count me in, man. And that is where Jeff's prediction here could very well come to pass, because if he is in that, and I mean, already right now, you've got a possible matchup between Bobby Lashley and Swerve, which, I mean, come on, man. That's an amazing match right there. And look, I always kind of thought that WWE did not use Bobby Lashley to the fullest of the way they should have. He had some big matches, yes, but I always kind of thought that they could have done a better job with Bobby when he was there, and they could have used him better than they did. I do believe that AEW will learn from that, and I believe that we might get that better version of the Hurt Business in the Hurt Syndicate. So, man, I'm all for this. And I said this before on this show, I think, that if they start that up, I will be an AEW viewer every single Wednesday. I can tell you right now, and I don't now, but I will be just to see that, because I'm loving that, and I hope we get some cool merch too.
Yeah, I do. I really want some cool merch. I need a new shirt anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, I think, like you said, we segue to that. We're going to talk about this in another segment. So I'll hold some of my comments for that. But I love this signing because I think they needed someone like Bobby Lashley. And what I mean by that is you got to have someone that's been there, done that, but also someone that looks the part. Bobby Lashley looks part. Dude looks like he's almost half his age.
Yeah.
He's in great shape. He always has been. But I just feel like him being there maybe adds a little more juice for me. And then you add in the Hurt Syndicate, you add in MVP, you add in Shelton Benjamin, who are two other people that WWE and a long list of others. And it's interesting that they have him doing some business with Swerve, because he's another one that I throw in there. Several people who did not get booked the way that they deserved or probably should have in WWE. So let's see how this thing plays out. But if they put this group together and they put out some merch, I will be having some of that merch.
Yep, same here. Yep, same here. Absolutely. I won't lie. I always wanted to see the Hurt Business and the Bloodline.
I wanted to see that too.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. It all depends on the writing. AEW is very hit and miss on that stuff. Now, I don't think they can miss on this. I think this is kind of right in front of them. And I don't think there's very much they have to do. I think they could see. That's the cool thing with a guy like Bobby and a guy like, and the people that are in there. They're veteran enough to be able to do a lot of that themselves. And they have one of the best talkers in wrestling right now as the guy who would be their manager. So I don't know. They'd have to do a lot of work there. As long as they keep the Hurt Syndicate away from Jericho, they'll be okay. Did you hear the story that Bobby wanted to use in a Gunther feud? That was wild, and going down that road of would have opened up a lot of negativity. No, I didn't actually. Other cool thing with the three members that we know in the Hurt Syndicate, they all offer a different perspective on wrestling at different levels. Yeah. Bobby looks like he's wearing a muscle outfit. He just always looks amazing. It doesn't matter when he's. Oh my God, there's so many. Omega versus Bobby Lashley. Good Lord.
Yeah, so many matches that you could do.
Yeah, there's really a lot. I mean, Ospreay, Lashley, that like Jeff mentioned, Will Ospreay. There are. I mean, imagine MJF.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just MVP versus Nana.
I have to. I got to see it at some point.
Yeah, man. Just makes me nervous. Tony likes his new toys for months as hell. Now, I'm telling you, I know people have their doubts and stuff like that, but I think with veteran guys like this and guys that have such established personalities and character and stuff like that, I think it'd be pretty hard to mess it up. And I don't see that happening. So, this is exciting, and I'm going to be excited to see what comes of this in the future. So, yeah, good stuff. All right, man. What do we got next? I think we have a retirement next.
Yeah, Marco Stunt announced his retirement. So yeah, I know. I saw this pop up last night and just wanted to get your thoughts on it and see what folks thought in the chat. An AEW original. Yeah, just wanted to see what people thought about it.
28 years old,
mm-hmm.
and he chose to retire. So, when you always are left wondering, unless the person kind of comes out and gives you a big story of what happened or why maybe he does run a podcast now, by the way. So who knows? Maybe he just enjoys he says a lot of his influences are Chris Jericho, The Undertaker. It's called the Stunt Family Podcast. So maybe listen, any athlete, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, it doesn't matter. And of course, pro wrestling as well. They just maybe come a time where they're like, yeah, I had fun. I did what I wanted to do. I followed my dreams. I wrestled for a little bit, but you know what? Beating myself up all over the ring and stuff like that. Yeah, I think I'm kind of into this podcasting thing, and I may want to do that a little bit. So, yeah, look, a staple in early AEW, for sure, was in a lot of cool things. And it's always surprising when you see somebody at 28 years old and you're thinking, wow, they're already done. But we don't know what goes into that. We don't know, what happens behind the scenes. Could it have been, was he injured? Was there nagging stuff going on? Did he just not want to beat himself up anymore, or his body up anymore? Or did he just find something better? And that can certainly happen too, where they just have other things that they enjoy doing. And if he models himself a little after Chris, Chris has been a podcaster for a long time, and he's always been a personality. I'm going to have to give his podcast a listen, and I'm just take a listen to it and just see, because you could kind of tell when people really get into that, you can tell like what their attitude is when they're doing them and stuff like that. But listen, all I could say is anyone who entertains us, does what he did, I wish him the best in whatever he chooses to do. Yep,
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, sad to see someone hang it up, but it's not like he's an older guy who, can't, is having problems with his body right now. Get out while he can, and do his thing, and contribute in a different way. And, maybe the in-ring career is done, but maybe there will be other ways that he'll contribute to wrestling down the road. So we'll see.
Yeah. Conrad says Slim Jim suit. Darby versus Bobby would be magic. Darby would sell his ass off. Says,
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that'd be really good. MJF versus Corbin in 2025. Hope Tony learns from Vince's mistake by not breaking them up when on fire. Imagine Lashley versus Miro if Miro was used. A new day is greater than the Usos. If you could ever get healthy Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley. Oh my gosh. Yeah, right. I appreciate everything Marco had to offer. I always loved that his favorite wrestler was the Big Show. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people really dislike Stunt. Not sure why. Rec also announced Sawyer Rec announced her retirement after the NGI this month. Bobby said in an interview he wanted Gunther to say, "Your kind of people doesn't deserve to be champ." Lashley would have said to reply, "What do you mean, you people?" And then he would have Gunther say, "Has-beens." Okay, would have been an interesting feud.
I think that if they would have gone in certain directions with that, given today's political climate, that would have been.
It could have been rough. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Marco said because of bumps, his doctor told him to stop. Okay. Well, yeah, makes sense. I have a life outside of wrestling, so I'm sure Marco Stunt can find one. LOL. Lashley would have gone down the route of basically calling Gunther Hitler. Going down the race route and the Nazi route would have been insane. So glad Triple H refused all that. Yeah, that wouldn't have gone over well. Yeah, that wouldn't have gone over well. Okay. All right, Jeff, I think we got one more thing in news here, and we're going to talk some TNA.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's did you get a chance to watch the episode?
I saw bits and pieces of it, so I had to go after you told me that Kazarian dressed up as Joe Hendry. I'm like, well, I got to go watch this, so I did. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. I watched most of the championship match. I watched most of that. And I'm trying to think what else big happened on that show. Oh, didn't Rosemary had a match against her former partner from NXT, yeah?
No, not yet.
No, okay, they're having a match. They have a match going on. Okay, because she turned on her from the pay-per-view. Okay, yeah. But that was about all I caught. I also saw the part where they wanted, or Nick Nemeth was saying he had nothing to do with Bradshaw, so he wanted to give Joe a rematch, and then apparently he went to Santino, and Santino told him no. But that's really all I got to see of the show so far.
Yeah, that first segment was wild. I mean, it was like 20 minutes, but it was wild. But you know, I feel like even though we didn't get a lot of answers per se, we're starting to understand some of the ties here. Or at least we can come up with some theories as to what's going on. But I mean, Joe Hendry coming out there seeing Kaz dressed as Joe Hendry with just the ridiculous accent that he was doing.
I did hear the accent part of it. Yes,
just crazy. But but I thought that Nick Nemeth coming out after Joe said, "Hey, I think that Frankie, Nick, and John Layfield, JBL, are all behind this thing," and I thought it was interesting having them come out, and then Nick, bringing up the whole thing of talking to Santino and saying the system is rigged, and the system comes out even though that's not the system that he was talking about. So yeah, it was just it was a fun episode. It wasn't meant to be anything like groundbreaking, but I thought it was a good episode. I thought, given what they were trying to do, I thought it was a good episode. But yeah, I just Derek, I saw that he's on my fantasy team, so I'll take his backwards jump over a Jaguars defender any day. I've never seen that in a game. I don't think I'll ever see it again. but that was crazy. But thankfully, thanks to Saquon, I am probably going to win in my fantasy football league this week. So thank you, Saquon. But no, I just think that I thought it was a good episode, Joe. If you can get, I will say that Barry Monkey, whoever keeps handing Lish a microphone probably does not need to have access to microphones. But I thought it was a good episode.
Good. Yeah. Look, I saw a lot of the pay-per-view. I saw a lot of the results. I didn't get to see all of it, but I mean, I when I saw the results, all I could think of, I'm thinking like, I called the Matt and Jeff Hardy thing. I remember saying that.
Yep.
The Hendry thing, I knew there was going to be something there with JBL. I knew it. Because it was mentioned and all that kind of stuff. Did I agree with the result? I don't know, but they better give me something really good really soon is what I'm going to say with Joe, because the time is ticking, I think. And the further that goes, unless they're not planning on doing it, because unless he already kind of said, well, I'm out of here next year, then maybe they won't, which I think is a little vindictive. And I still think it's a little silly, because why wouldn't you take advantage of the upcoming year? But that's business sometimes. So, but yeah, I although all the ways you're going are making me believe more and more that Jordan and Joe are out of there next year, and which kind of sucks. I would bet, Jeff, we're going to see both of them in the Rumble.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if we didn't. So, and then of course, look, they have their guns hitched to Nick Nemeth right now. And I'm not sad about that. I like him. So
Joe, I gotta throw something else at you though from the episode. So this week we're going to get Speedball Mike Bailey defending the X Division title
and Moose
against Moose.
Moose
is gonna win that title, and you know exactly what he's gonna do.
Oh, he's gonna cash it in.
What he's gonna do.
Oh yeah.
So
okay.
I mean,
would you come back around to where Joe would beat Moose again and go back in a big circle, or is that just? That's what I said. I don't know. I think the timer the timer's been turned over, and I think it's about halfway down the hourglass at this point. So
now, I could see a scenario where Moose wins it, and then Joe Hendry beats him. I could see that because they do have some history.
They do.
And, you got Nick Nemeth, who's a face. You got Hendry, who's so over that it's ridiculous. So maybe you don't have Joe beat that guy. Maybe you have Joe beat Moose. But I think Moose is definitely exercising option C. And I just...
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's that option C thing is a cool thing. It always comes into play with that championship, and you just never know. Like what a lot of people I know, when I read that, it's like people on Twitter were saying, well, why would they do this? Why would you have Moose going up against Mike Bailey? Like, of all people, why would that? Well, there you go. That's a great answer to it. It's an easy way for him to get his shot back, because they know, he's may not be able to get it from Santino, but there's ways around that. So yeah, great point. Last week's TNA can be summed up in 5 words.
That's right, James. That's right.
Do you want to know something? Sound more like JBL is working for Anthem and above Santino. TNA Creative is bankrupt. Jeff, sorry I got off the subject, but you guys know Saquon Barkley's highlight. Yeah, Jeff was just talking about it, the backwards thing. Can someone have a word with the person who keeps giving Alicia? Yes. Yeah. Lish isn't that great on the mic. I agree. I think Jordan might be mostly gone now. TNA was basically WWE's first ID. Moose will cash in, win the title for 30 seconds, get pinned by Kazarian, like Moose did to Josh.
Yeah, because Kazarian has the call your shot. So
he does. And then it'll lead back to Joe against Kazarian, which would be okay too.
That would be fine too, because remember, Kazarian on Joe Hendry's biggest night in NXT
Yep,
was the one to eliminate him.
that's true.
They have history.
Yep, very true. Absolutely. All right. Well, there you go. That is our news for this week. And we are going to get to everyone's favorite part of our show. And the part I love so much to hear, good old Jerry Stiller. And it is time for the airing of grievances.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear them.
Jeff, you got one? I have a very short one. Very short one. I'm just going to talk about really quick, and then you can. Is that okay?
Yeah,
I got a very quick one. Mine is just, again, very, very short. And because here's the thing, I'm prognosticating with this a little bit because I know that this is coming. I know that this is coming. Okay. I don't know the details of what it is that's coming, but I know that these comments are going to come. Okay. The whole thing that we just got done talking about the 3 wrestlers who were released, right? Indy Hartwell and the others. But I know that whenever you get into this, you get a ton of speculation. You get a ton of rumors. You get a ton of all of that stuff that I like to call diarrhea of the mouth. Please don't succumb to any of that. Because, and again, this stuff pisses me off more than any of the other rumors I read online. Because this is stuff that you're talking about people's lifestyles. You're talking about people's jobs. It's as if you were in a place of work and all of a sudden everybody's coming up to you saying, hey, I heard you're getting fired. And not only does it spread through your coworkers, but it spreads all over the internet. And then it spreads all over Twitter. And then it spreads all over everything. And then all of a sudden these people are hearing all this and none of it necessarily is true. I cannot stand. Look, I get it. I get a lot of these news things have their jobs to do and they do their jobs and they report on wrestling. Don't talk about potential people's careers being ended. Don't talk about that stuff. That's horrid. That's one of the worst things you could do. No one would want you to, if you were out there, you wouldn't want anybody coming to you and talking, to you saying, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling Writer, you think you're losing your job, by the way. I mean, that's just not just don't, I mean, it's just a human thing, right? I like to look at things as just like be a human being. Don't come out with all this crap and start speculating on, well, this guy's going to go, or we hear this guy's going to go. Listen, they don't want to hear that. I'm sure if I was in their shoes, I don't want to hear that. And I think it's just garbage, man. It's just garbage. And yes, a lot of them are fake. A lot of them are garbage accounts, garbage people that make garbage accounts. But it's just, look, it's just, it seems like a small thing, but when this stuff comes out, don't spread it around. Don't be putting other people's names out there for your own amusement or entertainment or your own, clicks, whatever it is you get off on. Just be a human being, man. Just think if that was you, and, Jeff and I have gone back to the Herman Edwards quote many, many times. Just stop before you hit send, man. Just think about what you're saying. Think about your own family. And I'm sure you have family. Maybe you don't see them that much because you're sitting in your internet cave all the time, but I'm sure you have family, right? Would you want your family to be brought out on the internet saying, hey, you're losing their jobs tomorrow? So, I just can't stand that crap. And it comes out every time we have cuts, every single time we have it. And I'm not a proponent of it. I am not ever going to share it. And I don't like anyone talking about it because you're talking about people's lifestyles and lives rather. And that's one of the worst things you could do. So that's it. I just wanted to make that statement because I know it's coming. I know you're going to see more of it this coming week.
Yep. Joe, it's funny because I think we've been doing this for so long now that we just end up doing similar topics when it comes to
You're talking about
airing
the
of
same
grievances.
stuff. And we did not plan this.
No, not at all.
I didn't know what Jeff was talking about. He didn't know what I was going to say. So this is
Yeah.
off the cuff. But yeah.
So I too have a problem with the releases, but it's from a different perspective. I have this problem when it comes to professional sports like the NFL, like the NBA, like Major League Baseball. Whenever a released or traded athlete finds out via social media, I have to go back to the reporters and I have to go back to the people who are the ones with the sources who discuss this information and put stories out. And listen, I get it. You're trying to get clicks, you're trying to get your money, get your bag, get your bread, whatever you need to do. But I would at least have the decency to ask a company if they've communicated that news with that employee yet before I run with it. I get that in the news business, people want to be first, that they want to always, have that link out there before anybody else. But did you stop to think that maybe, just maybe, they didn't have a chance to communicate with that person yet? And that's great that you were first. It's great if you're first, but you got a person who didn't know. According to them, they did not know until they saw the post online. So, like Joe was saying, be a decent person. I mean, I get the whole journalism thing. I went to school for it. I did it. So I get I honestly do get it. The headlines, you want to get them out there so people click, so people read. But my gosh, I mean, you don't always have to be first. It's about being decent to people and making sure that they've been at least communicated with, and not the people that you're trying to get to click on your link and pay $5 a month or whatever you're charging. But that's it. I'm done. Joe said plenty. I don't have to add very much to it.
Yeah, it's just simple human courtesy. It's simply just being a human being. And just don't, don't mess. There's things you just don't, look, anybody can say anything they want about anybody, but there's things you just don't go into, right? In someone's livelihood, marriage, significant others, their livelihood, their kids. That's a subject you don't touch. And I don't care if you're like Jeff said, if you're looking to get clicks, if you're looking to get heat on the internet, I don't care. It's just not something you should ever think in your gut to come out and have to say, no matter how much money you think you're going to earn by doing it. So good stuff. All right. Well, there you go. There is our grievances for this week. And we are going to move onward and upward to our Sell or No Sell segment, guys. It's time for Sell or No Sell. You guys know how this works. You were going to play along in the first two, and you're going to agree or disagree, and it's going to be sell or no sell. And then we're going to go on to the third one, where you guys are going to pick the category, and we're going to spin the spinner and read off one of yours. So here we go, Jeff. What is topic number one?
All right. So topic number one, I'm actually going to blow this one up. I'm sure Terrence will be happy to discuss this one. Joe Hendry should have been TNA World Champion by now, Joe. Sell or no sell?
Oh boy. I mean, I'm kind of a mega fan. I'm going to sell it. I think they're at the point now. I had kind of thought to myself, right, that what happens, because I didn't get to see the results of the pay-per-view until after I got home from the party. But I had thought to myself, if they are extending this out even more, I think the window might have closed. And, and maybe it's closed on purpose. Like I said earlier, we don't know the details. Maybe they do. And maybe they're like, yeah, we're not doing that. He's just going to leave. So I do. I think that we may be a little too late now. And Jeff presented some great possibilities just now. Like Moose getting the shot and getting the title, and then Joe getting it off of Moose. But again, if Joe is only signed until December of next year, right? Think about the dates. The next big pay-per-view for them is coming up when? January?
Yeah.
End of January?
Yeah.
So that would be if he goes up against Nick again. And there's no guarantee that Bradshaw's not going to come out again and do something and keep doing something until they finally reveal. And what is coming of that? That's the other thing you got to wonder. Sure, Nick Singh has nothing to do with it, but are they going to draw that out and eventually, like, Nick, looks like he's maybe going to help Joe at some point and then turns his back on him and kind of hugs Bradshaw and they're together? Like, Nick can be an easy heel. We've seen him do it before and he's good at it. So I don't know, but I think the window might be shut. I do. I think they might have missed out on their opportunities here. He's still very popular. There's no doubt about that. But, that I think personally, Jeff, I would have capitalized on when he was doing the thing on NXT back and forth. And right around the time when he lost to Ethan Page, that's right around the time I would have given him the title, because that was when all those fans were watching and all those fans were rooting for him because he was going there. And I think you would have gotten a lot of viewers from WWE and from NXT that may not necessarily be watching that much anymore. So, yeah, I don't know. I sold it. I think he should be by now. I do. I think they're missing out on it.
It's funny because I've spent like the last year trying to be different from James Chadwick since we got called the same person. But this is a tough one for me because there's a part of me that says, yes, absolutely, he should have been champion by now, given the popularity, given, how over he is with the fans, not just in TNA, but also in WWE. We don't know the contract status, though.
True.
We've heard a lot of rumors. We've heard a lot of reports. We've heard a lot of this. We've heard a lot of that. Until I hear from Joe Hendry, members of TNA management and or members of WWE management announcing a signing, a re-signing, or whatever the case may be, I'm thinking that he's going to be there until his contract is up, which I have no idea when it is, and I'm fine with that. I'm going to say, and that's why this is so difficult for me, because there's a part of me that wants to say that it's definitely a sell, because why wouldn't you make this guy your champion yet? But if this is being done as a story, Barry Monkey said something that that I was thinking, and it's very recent, but you think back to Cody, and Cody got so close and didn't close the deal for whatever reasons. So then you get the chase going again, and it's like this next leg of the chase might be Joe Hendry's biggest yet. And if he, depending on who he faces, I mean, if he ends up facing Moose, that's going to be huge. But if he faces Frankie Kazarian, that could be huge too, because there's just so much story with both of them. So I'm going to say no sell, just because I'm being contrarian, and because apparently me and James Chadwick are the same person.
Two basically. People in the same thing. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we got here from everybody. We got a sell from Imru. We got a sell from John G, a sell from Damien, a yes from Brandon Wayne Lewis, a sell from Dylan, a sell from Conrad, a sell from Terrence, an easy sell from Andrew. No sell, because this is what Jeff was talking about, because the chase is what keeping his popularity alive, and the chase is always better than the aftermath of being champ, just my opinion. No sell, said Brandon as well, because maybe TNA will put the belt on him and Hard to Kill. No sell from RK Shuttlesworth. No sell. People said the same about Cody, and the weight made the final victory all the better. Clown says Santino is going to get the belt before him. Terrence says Hard to Kill is no more. They went back to the Genesis pay-per-view name. That's right. Yeah, they did. No sell again. I say Joe Hendry wins the title on January 23rd live show and makes an appearance on the Rumble as the TNA champion. Okay, that's really good logic. I mean, we saw Jordan do it, so that could be. Hardy seemed pretty positive about good things ahead for Joe Hendry. I'll just say that much. Champion in NXT, isn't it good for him too? Alexa Bliss Gamer says sell. Jeff, bro, we are rebels. Says James. All right, let's move on to topic number 2.
Topic number 2. So we said that we would discuss this again, and here we are. So let me take this off screen real quick. Here we go. Topic number 2. The Hurt Syndicate will be properly positioned in AEW, Joe. Sell or no sell?
I'm going to sell it. And a lot of it, yes, I know people are probably going to disagree with me, and you might say it's wishful or hopeful thinking, but I'm going to sell it. And I'm going to sell it because of the characters you see right on your screen there. MVP at this point in his career is still, if not one of the best talkers in wrestling. I don't necessarily think you could screw that up, because a lot of the stuff that people sometimes complain about with AEW, and not people in our audience necessarily, but people that I hear, on talk shows of wrestling and this and that, they complain about storylines. And I think this could write itself. This is something I think can write itself. MVP, you can just kind of say to him, you go out there and you just go. You do what you do. And MVP could position that as, this guy can sell just about anything. And I am going to trust that. And also I'm just going to trust the other two, because they've been around wrestling for a long time, and they've worked together before, and they've worked with MVP before. And I just think that this is going to be, I think, a better version of what we got before, or what that could have been had it not been done away with so quickly. So I'm gonna sell it. I have faith in these 3 guys up here, and I have a lot of faith in MVP. And I kind of think that in this case, where maybe a weakness is storytelling, they can kind of stay away from this, I think. Because I think if they're working with MVP, which I'm pretty sure they are, then he, I think, might have a lot of say in what goes into it. So I'm going to sell.
Let me play this then. There you go. I'm going to say something that's a little bit different than maybe what most would think here. I have all the faith in Bobby Lashley and MVP and Shelton. I have so much faith in them. I understand why people don't have faith in Tony Khan at times, especially when it comes to bringing in new people, because it seems like you see them prominently for a couple months and then you don't. I think this is different though, because of what Joe said. I think when you have people like MVP, when you have people like Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, that's hard to screw that up. I mean, especially given you can learn from them where WWE screwed up and just not repeat the same mistakes. I mean, this is gold. If done properly, this is gold. And I think that heading into 2025, this will be the shot in the arm that AEW needs to kind of boost up into 2025 and really start to hit another gear. So I'm going to sell it. I think that they will be used properly.
I agree. All right. Let's see what everybody talked about here. Dylan says sell. Damian says, I'll sell it for now. I just hope and pray to God that TK does not do anything to damage star power of these 3. Bonus Baby says sell, but let's not forget Hurt Business, Hurt Syndicate. It all started in TNA. AB says sell. Let's see. Sell because of MVP says Imru. Sell says John G. Brandon Wayne Lewis says yes. Got more faith in TNA management than I do. I still remember Monty Brown getting screwed, but okay, says Terrence. Problem is without storyline, then championships aren't that exciting. Oh, that was for the last one. No sell. I can't trust Tony until I see it. Hence Sasha Banks. Good example, I guess. Yeah. Andrew says sell. Gonna sell it for now just because it's too early. Conrad says still. My sell or no sell? Oh, okay. This is one for us. Yeah, we're gonna get to those now.
Yeah.
I've been burned by Mr. Khan one too many times. I need to see it done right. Conrad says, "What's wrong with Mercedes, Derek?" Okay. All right. So yeah, there you go. That's number 2, and number 3 is all yours. So let's get them out. We'll put them on the spinner, and we'll pick one. Brandon has one first. Jeff, he's got his.
I need 7 more.
Okay. You got Brandon's?
Yep, I got
Okay.
Brendan's.
Okay, we
Yep.
need 7 more, guys. A lot of work. Come
More.
on, get us 7 more. 7 more viewpoints that you want us to do here on Sell or No Sell tonight. So let's get them out. We got 1. We need 6 more or 7 more. 7 more. So we need a lot. Mercedes is overrated. That should be one, maybe. James Chadwick just put that up.
Is that an entry, James?
Is that an entry for the spinner, James? It's a controversial one, if so. That would kind of fit you.
Yeah.
Do you want that to be one? Brandon Wayne Lewis has one. AJ Styles should be in the TNA Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't think you'll hear any arguments on that one.
James says, yeah, why not? So there you go. James says Mercedes is overrated. Overrated. Okay. Okay. Sean says, as far as Bobby goes, hungry rats has to show up in a garbage dump. Like, oh gosh. All right, Sean. Sean's not a fan of AEW apparently.
I guess not.
Yeah. Wow, that's harsh. Harsh. We need 5 more?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
Come on, guys. I know you got it in you. We have 5. We need 5 more.
Oh,
Everybody's doing overrated stuff tonight, man. Overrated. Liv Morgan is overrated. Wow. Okay. Everybody's getting on people tonight. We're going to have an overrated spinner. James Chadwick, I wouldn't say she's overrated. In short, her character just isn't working. It seems like some of that WWE stink is still with her. Wow. TNA will live to regret not having as many shows in its Canadian homeland now. Maple Leaf Wrestling is open, says Barry Monkey.
Okay.
Interesting. Brandon Wayne Lewis says the Motor City Machine Guns are the best tag team. You saying now or ever? I mean, you could put them in both categories. All time. Did TNA make a mistake not belting Hendry? We just talked about that. The biggest ego in all egotistical wrestling is Tony Khan. Oh, gosh. It's not a bash AEW show, Sean. It's not a bash show. Okay, we got one here from Jason. I think Stauffer. Jordan and Joe will hold championships in WWE in 2025.
Jordan. Joe. Okay, 2 more.
2 more, guys. We need 2 more. Come on. I know you got it in you. You can come up with 2 more. Derek says, should Chris Jericho go away for a while? Man.
Saying adios.
We got a lot of negativity tonight in here. A lot of negativity. Guys should all be hepped up on Halloween candy. Shouldn't be this negative. Paul Heyman should be given power to book his own shows.
Dang it, Conrad. I'm gonna make an executive decision.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, we gotta put that one in there. Yeah, that's a good one from Conrad. Yeah.
All right. Let's
we might have to do that one in a future episode if we don't get it on the spinner.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to see here. Just because I know, Brandon, I'm gonna save your AJ Styles one, if that's okay. Because that Conrad, that's a really good one.
We'll use yours in a future one, we promise.
Yeah, promise. I got it written down. Cena break world title record. All right, we're good. So here we go.
All right, we're gonna spin the spinner.
Here's the
There it all is.
spinner.
Just so you know, we're doing this all legal like.
Yep. That was a piss poor spin the first time. All right, so Jericho. It landed on Jericho. I can't wait to talk about this.
So Chris Jericho should go away for a while, was how it was worded. So all right. So sell or no sell, should Chris Jericho take some time off of wrestling? I think is a better way to put it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you think, Jeff? Should Chris Jericho go do some more podcasting and some band work?
And that's all I'm saying, because my mother told me that if I don't have anything nice to say, not to say it. So
I'm gonna say that the stuff that he's been doing isn't his best stuff ever lately. The thing with Chris is, and again, he's an icon of the business. There is no doubting what he's done. I still think, and I don't know if this will ever happen, because Chris can be a little weird with things, and he can be kind of stubborn. I don't know that this is ever going to happen, but I still kind of wonder. And Bully Ray talks about this all the time, and he knows him pretty well. He thinks he's going to retire with the WWE and go into their Hall of Fame. And
who, Jericho?
Jericho, yeah. So if that's true, then that would mean he would have to leave AEW at some point and come back. He has so many other things that he does. Again, the podcasting, the band, he's still doing. But is the shtick getting a little tired? Yes. The stuff he's doing now isn't necessarily his best stuff. Could I afford to see him take a little time off and maybe come back like reinvigorated? Yes, I think so. So I'm probably going to sell it too. And I don't necessarily mean it in a mean and nasty way, but I'm.
Yeah, I don't mean it in a mean.
No, yeah.
I'm
not saying you did. Yeah.
He need. I'm not saying he needs to go pound sand forever, right. But I'm just saying that I mean, everybody deserves a vacation, right?
Yes.
Sometimes vacations refresh you, and they
do.
Bring back some. I don't know, but yeah, I think in this case, I'm not a fan of the current trajectory, we'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he is a legend. He's done some great things. I remember when he was a cruiserweight in WCW,
mm-hmm.
and now he's gone on to do some great things. So yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed his work, but I haven't enjoyed this last little bit of what I've seen. And I mean, basically, if you know who kind of wrote the learning tree thing in AEW, it makes all the sense in the world, because it's essentially the same thing that we saw in TNA and Impact from Jimmy Jacobs. So yeah, that I'll just leave it there.
Tazzy joined the chat. Tazzy said he had a comment here. No comment on Chris Jericho. Tazzy gonna shut up. Yeah. Derek says that's been tired. Jericho's a legend, but man, this is by far the worst thing he's done. I don't need another match. Chris Jericho deserves a Hall of Fame. Jericho's match with Briscoe is good. Let people cry. WWE forced him to take time off to tour. Tony works around it, and that's the problem. Sometimes you got to be mean for them to get the point across. Jericho becoming ROH World Champ makes me glad I don't watch ROH anymore. Rollins has put enough people over. Chris Jericho, ECW. Yeah. Look, like I said, I think that, when some of his own friends are kind of talking about it, it's got to be a thing that's out there. And Bully Ray does an after Busted Open After Dark with about AEW every week. And he even mentioned when he did one of them that he wasn't a fan of it. And that's a guy who's a friend of his and he knows him well. So, all right. Well, there you go. So Jericho gets no love on our podcast tonight.
Who are we to disagree with friends?
Right? Who are we to? That's 100%. 100%. All right. We're going to move on, ladies and gents. And I think, Jeff, it is getting a little chilly outside. We turned our clocks back today, which, by the way, I hate more than anything.
Oh, God.
I hate it. I hate work until 5 p.m, leaving work and it's dark. I hate it.
Dark, yeah.
This is so depressing. I can't stand this time of the year, especially with that. And yeah, it is cold, but I think we might have something that might warm us up a little bit here coming up.
Yeah. I mean, if the last topic there wasn't warm enough, we've got another topic. So, burning question of the week. Let me, this is a good one, I think. It's a long one, but I'll read it. If you were TNA and WWE, would you trade talent if it were a possibility? Should WWE be willing to send talent over that doesn't get much time on TV to have TNA build them up and send the talent over from TNA that's deserving of a bigger spotlight? How would you use this partnership to elevate talent from both sides?
It's an interesting question. I mean, obviously they're still working together, and we have seen a little bit of this, right? We've seen some of the talent from NXT that don't get used much over there end up on TNA, and kind of, we've seen the bigger names from TNA get kind of propped up a little bit, maybe even more by like Shawn Michaels and by the fans of TNA being put into like big situations over there. I like the partnership. I hope it continues. But this is interesting, right? It's almost like it's almost like a team to team trade in a way, where someone could take somebody that maybe not doing so well in their respective one, or maybe they just don't have room for, or ability to get them on matches, and they might have them over there, and then the other one might reverse that and do the same thing. I don't know if this is a bad idea. Be willing to send their talent over. It doesn't get much time at TNA, build them up. So you're basically just having another company maybe trying to do something maybe a little different with the talent that that was on the other shows, where maybe it just wasn't going over, or maybe people, maybe it just wasn't succeeding very much, and just trying different things. I'm of the point here with this where I am just enjoying it from both sides of it, because now I'm watching NXT where I really wasn't watching a lot before. So it got me to do that, and I'm enjoying it. And so whenever one of the people happens to be over there, I get excited. Rosemary, I think the Rosemary thing going over there was really cool to me. Look, Joe Hendry was just so huge that no matter where he went, when he went over there, would have been over, because he was just so huge at the point. Everybody was with the song and all that. But, now Rosemary's been wrestling for a long, long time and has a huge fan base. But when she ended up over there, I kind of marked out a little bit because it was different. I didn't expect her to be there. And then when she showed up and she was there, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Rosemary's here. So I think they're doing a good job with it. I hope it continues into next year. I don't know how long they're going to do it. They could quit at any time. And maybe now that, NXT is kind of traveling more, they're going to different places. Maybe it's not as easy for the TNA people to do it because of the times that they do their tapings and all that kind of other stuff. So maybe that could end up being a problem. But I like it. I like what they're doing. Should they be willing to send talent over that doesn't get much time on TV? I kind of think maybe a little bit of that they already kind of are. Like, some of them aren't people now. The more, I will say this, the more popular ones that are coming from TNA, so Joe Hendry, Rosemary, Frankie Kazarian, they are already over. Like, they're more popular talent. So maybe, like, if they were taking some other people on TNA that who maybe weren't as necessarily known or as popular, or, you know, people like that, then, and send them over, like maybe differentiate it a little bit from just the top popular ones like Joe and Jordan and Rosemary, and maybe get some other people that are there that are maybe not as known, right? And bring them over. Like we saw, you know, Hammerstone's well known, but you know, we saw him come over, which was a little different, right? He got involved in that feud with D'Angelo and stuff. So maybe it should work a little bit that way, where it's just not the top names from TNA going to NXT, but maybe some of the people who necessarily aren't seen all the time, that could go over there. That's the only thing I would do to change it. But I think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going. I like what they're doing. I just really wish that NXT would send over people like Trick Williams or Jada Parker, or, you know, folks like that, Lola Vice. But I mean, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. If you send people back and forth, are you diminishing what you can do in terms of storytelling? I think that's the downside to it. But if you're looking at it from a purely, you know, giving people exposure, increasing their stock per se, then I think it's a good move. But it's all in how you position it, because if you're TNA, you don't want to lose all your talent to, you know, the corporate giant that is WWE.
Right.
So, you know, I think there's pluses and minuses to it, but, you know, as long as you're not a feeder system to WWE and all of your talent just keeps getting plucked by them, then I think, you know, it's good to send folks over. But yes, I do need to see Macklin go over to NXT and take on some folks.
He's a good example.
Yeah.
Somebody like Macklin, yes, that's a very, very good example, because he's a guy who, he's very good. We all know that, but I think he just needs to get himself out there a little bit more. And yes, I would agree. Macklin, I think, is a good one. Yeah, Macklin is a good one. And obviously, kind of like he's kind of turning into a face, right? He's not a heel anymore. So Macklin and Ridge Holland, that's a good matchup. Ridge Holland right now is very hated. So, you know, have them send them over. Yeah, I think that's a good example. So, yeah, I just hope it continues, right? I'm always kind of hoping that we don't hear that it's stopping, or they're not going to do it anymore. I just hope that they keep doing it, because I think it's beneficial for both companies. So, all right, good stuff. There you go. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks for participating in that. And we're heading into our favorite moments of the week. So our top 3 favorite moments of this past week in wrestling. You guys shout them out. We're going to go 3, 2, and 1 in that respective order. Let us know, what are your 3 favorites of the week, 3 moments of the week in the world of professional wrestling this past week. Let us know. 3, 2, and 1. So, all right, Jeff, what's your number 3, man?
Well, most of these are going to come from TNA. When I get into my top 2, they definitely will. But my number 3 for me this week was seeing Bobby Lashley show up in AEW. I thought that was awesome. Cannot wait to see what they do with him and the Hurt Syndicate there. Really looking forward to it. So that's my number 3.
Okay. Oh man. I'm gonna go with my number 3 as Liv Morgan winning the title at Crown Jewel. I have always been a fan of Liv's. I never kind of thought she got a lot of respect over the years, and she was actually even one of them we used to talk about on the on the Firefly show with Jody a lot, because a lot of us kind of wanted to see her involved in that, even more so than maybe Alexa Bliss in some ways. But I think right now she is doing her best. She is. I'm not sure what the merch sales and stuff looks like. I don't have access to those numbers, but I am seeing a lot of people wearing her shirts and stuff in the audiences. A lot of women, a lot of men are wearing her t-shirts. I think Liv right now is at the top of her game. I think she has now established herself as, whether you like her or not, because of course she plays a heel, so you're not really supposed to like her, but you know, I think she's established herself as one of the top women right now in WWE. And I never really, you know, going back 3-4 years ago, I don't think I would have said that. I don't think I've seen that coming, because it just never seemed like she got that opening, or never seemed like she got the trust completely from WWE that she needed. But I'm going to say Liv winning that title. I think that really was important to her. You could see the emotion on her face when she won it. So, you know, a lot of people out there criticizing it, saying, the thing's a piece of junk. It's only Saudi. It's this big, goofy looking title. But she was crying. So you could tell what that meant to her. And I like her. I think she's worked. She worked her ass off, I think, to get where she is. And she's never been the biggest woman there. She's never been really super strong or anything like that, like a Charlotte, or, you know, she's never had the amazing popularity of a Becky Lynch. But I'm happy for her. I think she's really busted her ass to get where she's at. And I'm glad that she won that title. And like I said, that thing where her and Cody were holding him up and she was, you know, you could see the tears, like it's important to her. And I could see why, but I think Liv is going to be, you know, she could end up being one of the faces of that women's division going forward for a while. So that was my number 3. All right, let's see what everybody's got here for their number 3s. All right, we got Brandon Wayne Lewis says NXT Roman Reigns, yeet, says bonus baby. That was kind of cool. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Bobby debut at AEW. The OG Bloodline reuniting, says Dylan. You're talking about with Sammy and stuff. Bobby Lashley's debut at AEW. Lashley debuting at AEW in Orange Cassidy's quest for revenge on Jon Moxley. Okay. Liv is awesome. The Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way from Crown Jewel is Alexa Bliss Gamer, getting a high foot by Speedball on Thursday during his entrance at the GCW show. That was at an actual live show. That's cool, Clown. That's awesome. My 1, 2, 3 is all MCMG signing for WWE, debut match, and winning the tag titles. Yeah, very cool moment for them. Number 3 is Bobby Lashley, AEW. Deanna has all of hers here. Number 2 is Halloween Havoc, and number 1 is OG Bloodline Reunion. Yeet, heard around the world. Masha becoming Knockouts World Championship. Nice. Special note to the MCMG. That belt is bigger than Liv. Yeah, I know. She couldn't have probably put it on. Liv hasn't worked her whole ass off, Joe. She's got a little bit back there, a lot of it. Oh, jeez. All righty then. NXT Halloween Havoc, Barry Monkey. Jordan popping up in NXT on Tuesday, says RK. Liv Morgan has had a good year. This match did suck, though. Okay. All right, number 2s we're going to. Let's go to 2s. Jeff, what do you got for your number 2, man?
Number 2, I'll keep it short and sweet. We already talked about it. Frankie Kazarian dressing as Joe Hendry and delivering just a very over-the-top Scottish accent. So that's my number 2.
It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. My number 2 is the Motor City Machine Guns and the early success that they've had. Boy, I'll tell you, it didn't take them long at all to get there, and didn't take them long at all to get that title. And man, you know, want to know why I'm so happy about all this? I love them because of obviously we've seen them on TNA for so long. But even more so, I think what it tells me is what I want to hear, and that WWE is interested in tag teams again. And man, I could not be happier to see that. If that's where they're going with this, and Triple H just said, "Hey, we know how good you guys are. I want you to have the titles. You're gonna bring our tag." I hope this was said in the back at some point. You're gonna bring our tag team division back to where it needs to be. That I want to hear. And that I'm loving. If that's going to happen, then let's go. What a great thing to happen to them. Now they've gotten, they gotten the respect that they were getting in these other places, in TNA, of course, and now they're tag team champions in the WWE. So I want to see that, bring that back to the forefront, and I think it will. They're good enough to do that, and so very glad that happened, and very glad. I was surprised. I didn't know that they were going to do it so soon, but I'm glad. I hope they're hitching that trailer on up to the Motor City Machine Guns. So. Yeah. All right, number 2s from everybody out there. Motor City Machine Guns WWE champions. Number 2, The Miz getting kidnapped by Dexter Lumis on Raw Talk. I didn't know that happened. I didn't see that. Ooh, interesting. Poor Miz. Why did he get involved in it? Why didn't he just stay away? Number 2, Masha winning the Women's Knockout title. Bobby Lashley's debut. Build up for the NXT 2300 from the old ECW arena this Wednesday. 10 women's tag team match being set up this past Tuesday in NXT. The men's tag team title match at Bound for Glory. Special note, the Wrestling World supporting Chris Bay. And my number, okay, I agree you're going to number 1s. All right. Okay, so there's the number 2s. All right. Biggest moment of the week in the world of professional wrestling for everybody. Number 1s. What are your number 1s, guys? And Jeff, what is your number 1?
My number 1 is going to echo what Deanna said for her number 2. But oftentimes we see, tragic events happen, accidents happen, and that's just really it. We get the initial news, and then it's like, okay, and you think about the person, you pray for them, if that's something that you do, and that's about it. But then, you don't see a lot of people jumping in. And with Chris Bay, he suffered an injury, and the wrestling world, it seems, rallied and continues to rally around him in TNA. So that's my number 1, because for goodness sakes, especially right now, we don't get enough good news in the world, and that's worth sharing.
I didn't know about this until just now. I'm going to read what they said here. So Chris Bay recently suffered a career-threatening injury. The accident occurred during the October 27th taping of the show, where Bay injured his neck. Now his tag team partner, Ace Austin, has come forward with an update on his status. Chris underwent a neck surgery following the vicious injury and will remain in Detroit for now. He'll be undergoing rehab as he recovers from the surgery and returns to full strength. In his update, Austin also mentioned that a GoFundMe page has been set up for his tag partner, along with a Whatnot auction. TNA will also raise funding from fans at its shows on November 8th and 9th at Fayetteville, North Carolina's Crown Arena. The promotion is also selling a lot of merch to support Bay in this time of need. The goal of the GoFundMe page was set to 50,000, which has almost been reached. It's amazing. Several notable pro wrestling names such as Nick Nemeth, Adam Copeland, Will Ospreay, Karrion Kross, Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, Scott D'Amore, Shane Helms, and many others made donations to aid the TNA wrestler. While he is currently taking the time to heal back, Chris Bay released a statement showcasing his gratitude to everyone having his back via a tweet on X. I just want to take a few moments to extend my heartfelt thanks and deepest appreciation for so much and so many over the past few days. From everyone at TNA to the incredible medical staff in Detroit to family, friends, and fans worldwide, I know you've been praying for my full recovery from the in-ring accident this past Sunday. Monday was day 1 for me on this journey, which I know will be long and challenging. Thanks again for the love and support, and please keep the prayers coming, said Chris Bay. Bay and Austin lost their World Tag Team Championship to the Hardy Boys. It'll be interesting to see if and when the duo issues a rematch after Bay's recovery to reclaim their belts. Well, how can it be anything else other than that, number 1? I mean, I didn't even know that happened. That's an amazing thing when the wrestling community as a whole shows why they're amazing people and shows why. And this is a great lesson, Jeff, for everybody, because there's so much tribalism in wrestling. So much. We talk about it all the time on here. But when something like this happens and you see wrestlers from every company, doesn't matter where they're from, are getting together to help this guy because he's part of their family. He's part of the wrestling family. It's very cool to see. And so, listen, we love Chris Bay. I love Chris Bay. I know Tazzy loves Chris Bay, and we wish him all the best. And listen, not even the point of coming back to wrestling. That's not even the point. Mostly I want him to be okay. And I want him to be able to, function. Because with a neck, we know we've seen stuff with Big E, right, and all that, and he hasn't come back to wrestling. So I want him just to be okay and be able to move on and move forward with his life. He's a young man, and he should be able to live that life without pain, without any sort of thing that hampers him from it. And so yeah, this is a great number one. It's a great number one. And our best wishes, obviously, to Chris. And if you're going to any of those shows, support him. And if you want to donate to the GoFundMe, it's almost at $89,000. That's tremendous. That's that a bunch of people in the wrestling family can raise almost $90,000. And the thing you have to remember, guys, is this: wrestlers don't necessarily, and I've heard this from Bully talking on a show about it, they don't all necessarily have really good medical coverage, if any.
Nope.
If any. They certainly don't get it from the companies. So a lot of times maybe they're paying for it themselves. Mm-hmm. And that is super, super expensive. Yep. So that money is going to go to a very good cause, because that surgery is going to probably be extremely expensive. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I did put the GoFundMe link in the chat.
Nice.
If anyone wants to participate, whether it's something big or small, whatever you can do. And if you can't do anything, that's okay too. But just want to share it with all of you. And if you want to share it with others, maybe that's how we can help.
Yeah, get it out there on Twitter. Those of you who are on X, use X for something good. God knows it needs it. So yeah, share it. Yeah, just go on. Listen, we're not telling you money's tight. I get it, but get out there and just share it. Just take the link, share it, get it out there in the open, get people, in the know about it. And just get it out there and let's continue to try to help Chris in his recovery and the trials and tribulations that he has in front of him, by not having to worry about where he's going to get money from in order to pay for all that stuff. So yeah, great stuff. All right, let me see what everybody else has there as their number ones here. It's almost at 100K last I looked at the end. And number one was Crown Jewel, says Brandon. Adam Copeland donated $10,000 to Chris's wedding. Yeah, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing when the wrestling community comes together like that. And it makes me proud to be, a wrestling fan. So number one was Motor City Machine Guns winning the SmackDown tag titles, and 1B was the Hardys winning. Yeah, that was a nice moment for the Hardys. Yeah, let's not forget about that. That was a nice moment for them too. Yeah. Ash by Elegance Halloween costume on this past Impact is number one for me. Not wrestling related. My granddaughter's Halloween costumes. It doesn't have to be wrestling related. We know that. Jeff talks about that quite often, so that's perfectly fine. Global support for Chris Bay is number two for Andrew. My wife telling me she is now a GCW fan, and the Halloween show is her favorite wrestling show ever. That's cool. Rhino going in the TNA Hall of Fame. Good moment for him. Bobby Lashley debut in AEW. Casket match between Tatum Paxley and Wendy Chu. The Miz getting kidnapped by Dexter Lewis. We got that one. Roman Reigns saying yeet is John G's. See if I missed any. Continued prayers for Chris Bay. Wars are between promotions. The wrestlers are a family who just happen to work for different promotions. Very true. TNA is paying his medical expenses, but not his other bills. That's because the accident happened at work. So yeah, that can come into a legal thing. Pro Wrestling Tees also has a shirt that all proceeds go to him. Okay, cool. Nice. So there you go. If you want a cool t-shirt of Chris Bay and you never had one before, go and get it. Pay it forward. It will come back to you. Absolutely. Don't forget to vote this Tuesday. Yeah, I was going to say that before everybody left. Well-deserved Hall of Fame emergence of Liv Morgan, Masha Simonovich, and Metaphor's Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson. The women's matches at Crown Jewel were the highlights of the show. Johnny Wrestling versus LA Knight. Bonus baby, that movie made me cry. All right. there you go, guys. So that is our top 3 of the week. And that is pretty much going to do it for this episode of The Insiders Between the Ropes. I hope you enjoyed it. I know we did. We had a lot of stuff to cover and a lot to talk about. A good point you brought that up. Very, very, very important election in the United States happening tomorrow. If you have never voted, I can't stress enough that you got to get your voice out there. It is very, very, very important that you do. I grew up in a family where my mom never was really into that. I don't know, to be honest, I can't remember whether or not my mom and dad ever went to vote. I think my dad did, but I don't know my mom did. And she never really made it a big, important thing. But it is a very important one. And, one that even a lot of people may be dreading a little. So get out there and get your voice heard and vote. It's very important. And you're right, as a citizen of this country, to go out there and vote whoever you want to get in that office. So do that. I know a lot of workplaces, like my work, is even opening an hour late to allow people to go and to vote tomorrow. Of course, I'm off. I mailed mine in. I don't like to go and get into the line sometimes at those polling places. Now you get a lot of weird people there. But you can mail in ballots. I think now it might be a little too late to do that if you haven't already. But yeah, just make sure and go vote. It is very, very important if you live in this country to do so. So hit the like on the way out. Yeah, we'd appreciate it. Make sure you sub to the channel. Hit the like button on the stream for us tonight. It helps us out big time. Also, hit that notification bell to be notified about when we have future content, which will be on Tuesday for Fireflies Forever. We will be talking all about that that little feud and the kidnapping of the Miz and all that good stuff going on with Karrion Kross's faction. And then is there a point to vote? No, I think there is a point. Yes, I think there is a point. If you don't vote, then you don't have the right to bitch and moan about it afterwards. Good point. Good point. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Have a great rest of your Sunday night and Monday. And hopefully we will see you all for the next episode of The Insiders on Tuesday. And then we'll see you all for TNA this Thursday as well. Have a great one, guys. Be safe. Be kind to one another always. And hopefully we will see you all for the next show. Have a good night, guys. And we'll talk to you all soon.